It's said in the Shiva Sutras that Chaitanya Matma, that everything is consciousness, that consciousness is everything, that it's from consciousness that this world emerged, and that from which we emerged. There was a guru at one point back in ancient times that had the same teaching, that everything is consciousness. And he had a sweet bread that he distributed to his students. He said, I want you to go somewhere where there's no one present, where there's no consciousness present. Whenever you can be alone, completely alone, where there's no consciousness, you can eat the sweet bread. And one of his students' name was Purampulya, because he loved to eat sweet breads. He was noted for that. They called him Purampulya. So the disciple gave each of them one of these sweet breads called Purampulya and said, go find a place where there's no one, where you're completely, where there's no consciousness, and you can eat the bread. So the disciples, one ran behind a barn, one ran behind a tree, one went home, and within a little period of time they were all back. They'd eaten the sweet bread. The Purampulya, who was the personal attendant of the Guru, didn't come back. So the day passed and the night passed, and over a period of a couple of days, no one saw Purampulya. And finally they sent out a search party and they found him, and they brought him back, and by this point the bread was disintegrating. And the Guru asked him, he said, well, why didn't you find a secluded place where there was no consciousness, eat it and come back? He said, Guruji, no matter where I went, there I was. And I am consciousness. I am that. So he recognized his own self, and the Guru said, this is my true disciple. This is the teaching, that there's no place where you can go where consciousness is not. Physically, but also mentally. Whatever thoughts we hold in mind, they manifest in kind. Consciousness is the substance of our thoughts. Every thought that arises is a manifestation of consciousness itself. Modern physics has discovered this principle. They say that you can't observe anything in nature without fundamentally changing it. That it depends on the way we observe something, the way we measure it, that determines how it shows up for us. And they did an experiment where they sent light through an opening, and when they measured it as a wave, it showed up as a wave, and when they measured it as a particle, it showed up as a particle. So this consciousness that's within us is the most powerful force in the universe. It's this light of being, this inner consciousness that manifests our universe. And this is an energy that we can consciously use to create the life that we want to live. And it can also be consciously used to remove whatever blocks are present. So for example, we get triggered. A block shows up in our consciousness, shows up in our experience. The practice is to look at, to bring our awareness, to bring our consciousness to be laser focused on the energy that's arising, by observing, by witnessing, by bringing our conscious attention to whatever block, whatever emotional trauma that's arising. That consciousness itself can enter into the block and act as a dissolvent to it. So this focused awareness has tremendous power. And this consciousness is the fundamental stuff of the universe, beyond the quantum field. Modern physics now recognizes that everything is energy. At the level beyond cells, there's molecules and atoms and subatomic particles, and there's the quantum field. What they haven't yet discovered is that the nature of that energy, the nature of that quantum field is consciousness, that it's a conscious energy that has brought about the manifestation of the universe. Our thoughts are consciousness. They come from consciousness. They dissolve in consciousness. So I'd like to do a little meditation here where we'll begin with our eyes open. I'm going to invite you to look around the room with the awareness that everything is consciousness. If there are other people in the room, it's easy to imagine, these are conscious being, consciousness exists within them. But as we look at the physical matter in the room, what is it that holds together the molecules and joins the atoms to form molecules? There's a consciousness that underlies everything that we see. So for just a couple of minutes, gaze around the room with the awareness that all of this is consciousness. Everything that exists is consciousness. And at a certain point, recognize that it's my own consciousness that's aware of all of this. That we think that there's an external reality that's hard, that's real. In truth, it's our own consciousness that's structuring reality. For example, when we perceive something, there are 10 trillion bits of information that's available to us at any given moment. And it's our own consciousness, our own mind, that chooses the 2,000 bits of information which we're capable of perceiving in any given moment. And it takes those 2,000 bits of information, actually creates a reality that the eyes take in light and filtered through the various inner energetic mechanism, forms an image in the mind. It's a kind of shorthand for what's out there. It's the same thing with sound. Sound is simply energetic vibrations, waves, frequencies that create an inner experience. So as you look around the room, become aware that it's my own consciousness that's creating this experience of reality. And I can change that reality by simply changing focus. I can look here. I can look within. I can direct my senses to see, to hear, to taste, to smell, to feel. So all of this is a completely unique experience of our own consciousness. Now I'd like you to close your eyes and go within, and for just a couple of minutes, hold in your awareness that every thought that arises is an expression of consciousness. Disregard the content of the thought. Just see that energy takes the form of a particular expression. So close your eyes, look within. Instead of trying to still the mind and have no vrittis, just let the mind wander, let the mind think whatever it thinks, but hold in the awareness that every thought that arises is consciousness taking a form. So sit quietly now for just a couple of minutes, meditating, observing that everything is consciousness, everything outside of ourselves, everything that arises within our own field of awareness is an expression of consciousness. So this is a practice I'd like you to experience more deeply this week. Give it a go. Try this a few times this week. Note your inner experience of seeing everything as consciousness. Make a note in your notebook. Namaste.